Welcome. I'm at Avalanche Lake in Glacier National Park. As you can see, it's early summer. There's still a lot of snow up there, and this place is renowned for this lake here, which all these waterfalls are flowing right into it. Now, my way of painting it, my way of thinking about it is, well, you have this big wall, okay? It's a wall. What are you gonna do to make the eye go through that wall so that it's not a giant impediment? So I grab, see, this is just the schematic of the painting. I'm grabbing, when I look at something like this, all the ways that you can break that wall up and get the eye through it from and across the painting. See, in my mind, I'm linking the sky, the water, and everything in a beautiful gesture. Just because you have a wall doesn't mean you can't have a dynamic painting with lots of diagonals. So this is, I'm just showing you here what's in my mind as I start painting this thing. So here we are, we're laid in. So I got my fan brush, it's a tortured fan brush, and just have turpentine medium, and I've since adjusted my technique a little bit more. I put medium over the whole canvas to make it less scratchy. But here, this is one from a year ago, and you could see, though, even though I changed my technique slightly, it's not going to change the final result. So I'm just getting that sort of wall in there first. Okay, and then moving right along, starting to get a sense of the clouds in the sky and what's going on. Getting some of the blue sky in there. See? Sneaking it in. See, when you paint outdoors, you know, in the beginning you're very cautious about copying and getting to know what's in front of you. But as you gain a lot of experience, you feel more free to express something, and that's what the goal is. Now, usually, in the old days, I would have the camera on the right side. So I've since put it on the left side, so you don't see my shoulders much. That was like a major innovation. But I'm sorry that you have to put up with this. Next ones will show. The plein airs I do now will have me with the camera on the left side. But this is a useful thing. I haven't been out plein airing this year so far, so this gives you a rough idea of what I'm doing. So I'm again, I hate walls. I hate them. There's something so stifling. I mean, some people are claustrophobic. Well, I'm wallophobic. So if I see a wall, a mass of rock or anything, I want to break it up. I want the eye to shoot around through it like a crazed electron. I don't want there to be a stifling going on. So again, forgive me for my shoulder here. This is an older one, and it's a short one. So the new ones out in the field will be different. So you see how quickly I'm putting in the lake color, and there's people all around. So this is a pretty popular trail. So occasionally I turn around and I talk to people, and so I you have to do that as an artist. You're an ambassador for your craft, so you do have to talk to people and answer their questions. And invariably they always say, have you ever seen that painter Bob Ross on TV? And I mean, it's what people identify with, and they relate to it, and they try to relate using that, and that's fine. So but you're your own Bob Ross out there, whoever you are. So the important thing is, you want to stay away from edges and go into interiors of space. So that's the opposite of the whole negative space thing about drawing. That teaches you to look at outlines, and outlines don't have soul. It's the inside, it's what's inside a shape or a form that matters, not its outline. So you can get much more by going inside than sticking outside. So I'm constantly looking at what I have out there, and I never bring a camera, so I don't see. I like the pressure to get what I need to get out of there, so I don't go into a lazy mode of security. Well, I'll get that later, or whatever, or whatever. No, you're stuck. You got to get it out there. If you can't get it out there, then you got to try to remember it. So you got to develop a technique that allows you to grab as much as possible out there of what you want to grab, of course. There truly are way more details in the natural scene than are needed to make a good painting. So the idea is you pick and choose which details to focus on when you're outside. And whatever you need to grab it, the thing. But I'm always a fan of, let the brush stroke tell a story, not be the story in itself. So the brush stroke is telling a story about what I'm looking at. And I don't care. I don't fall in love with a piece of paint. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I don't want to touch that. Oh, I don't care, mess it up. That's my motto. I want to get to the soul of something, the mood, the atmosphere. I don't want people to go, ooh, ah, look at that little squiggle of brush that work there. I don't need that kind of stuff to be an artist, but some other people do, I suppose. And I want to tell a story. I want people to have a sense of place about my painting. So I do what it takes to get that. So, but yeah, here I'm just painting as expeditiously as I can. I have an idea in my head, a feeling, and it's really important. So now the principles are, always you got to make the clouds look like clouds. And sometimes that means a lot of quiet in certain areas, like the shadows. And there has to be a kind of a unity between the sky and the landscape to make a whole painting. So, people are like, oh, well, I did the sky and I don't want to get it dirty or whatever. Well, there is, to get unity, you do have to take some risks. And you do have to risk putting a little green in your sky, but then you can knock it down with a tiny bit of red, and it somehow works. It completes a triad. So, I want you to see how that works. Again, I'm sorry for the quality on this. I've learned since to put the camera on the left side, but this gives you an idea. I haven't gone out plein air painting yet, but this might give you some ideas to go out and paint. So here I am again, fixing the sky. See, stepping aside. You'd think I'd figure out myself that putting the camera on the left side would be better, but it took a very astute student of mine to tell me that. So, can't think of everything. But anyway, as I recall, this camera was had to be very, very close to me because there were a lot of people walking around, and I mean, this is the only trail that's open usually in this early in the season. Now I'm putting the sunlight on the snow that's spilling over the mountain, and you could see that so the snow, the snow's in shadow, so it's a blue and a yellow, blue and a white, and then you add a little bit of tiny pure white with a tiny bit of yellow in it, or yellow ochre, to make the sunlight on the snow, and that's the same thing you use on the clouds, generally speaking, but the clouds are a little bit more diffuse. See, the snow is a very flat, reflective shape, like a mirror. It reflects back the full force of the light, and clouds absorb some of it. So clouds are never going to be as bright in the sun as a patch of snow. And that's a clue to when you're painting. Unless the snow, of course, is in shadow. I mean, we're talking about sunlight here. So, this painting, you really have about an hour outside to get the main idea before everything changes and it becomes another painting outside. So you really have to have an idea in your head almost as you develop the painting at the same time, so that you're not, you're not sitting there looking and going, oh God, I hope nature tells me how to paint it. It doesn't, nature is going to be nature, and you're going to be you, and your paint's going to be your paint. So there's nothing's going to tell you what to do except your own intuition. So, I mean, you could not, I mean, if you took a photo and painted every single tree and every single detail, it would not look as good as if you combine some things, and it would be more exciting, but truthful at the same time. So here's this will give you an idea. So here's the finished piece in the studio, and hope you enjoyed this lecture.